Ever since I grew up with various hit entertainment shows, I always remember them in my childhood. One of the shows that I liked from this company was Thomas and Friends. If you don't know what Thomas and Friends is, Thomas and Friends is a British television franchise created by Britt Allcraft, and is based on the railway series books by Reverend W. Awdry. It is about a blue tank engine who lives on the island of Sodor with his friends. I really like Thomas and Percy a lot, because they were a part of my childhood. Anyways, I have came across a very frightening episode about this show. It was a sunny afternoon. I was playing baseball with my dad from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. After baseball, we went to grab some ice cream from Dairy Queen. As I was walking, I came across a cardboard box which is next to a trash can. As I picked up the box, it says, "Open this box if you're the strongest person." Why would it say that? I asked. I then showed my dad the box I found and he was kinda impressed that I found yet another rare DVD. We then went to Dairy Queen for ice cream. I ordered myself an Oreo Blizzard, while my dad ordered a regular cone. As I got home, I took the box into my room and opened it. As I opened it, it was a Thomas Friends DVD. The cover consisted of Thomas, Percy, James, Gordon, and Henry on a light blue background, with Thomas being the closest and Percy, James, Gordon, and Henry being the nearest. The DVD was titled, Thomas and the Tuba and Other Stories. I then went downstairs and showed my dad the DVD. He was impressed I found something rare. My dad then told me that he will go to Walmart to buy some things and come back at 9:50. I then took the DVD upstairs, getting ready to watch one of my childhood shows. I then put the disc into my DVD player, sat down on my gaming chair, and got ready to watch it, so I can revive my nostalgia. The DVD menu. The first thing that shows is the Hit Entertainment logo, and then it played a trailer for Bob the Builder, A Christmas to Remember, a preview for the Wiggles movie, a trailer for Kipper, Puppy Love, and then it took me to the menu. The menu consisted of Thomas, Percy, James, Gordon and Henry on a blue background. Their character designs were in the 2005 animation. On the top left, there was the show's logo, and under the logo had text that says, Thomas and the Tuba and Other Stories. And on the top right, there was 5 menu buttons: Play All, Episode Selection, Visit Hit Entertainment, Setup, and Bonus Features. I took a look on the back of the DVD. There were 6 episodes that were Thomas and the Tuba, Thomas and the Colors, James the Second Best, Edward and the Mail, Thomas to the Rescue, and an unknown episode with the title, Thomas's Nighttime Adventure. Why would it say Nighttime Adventure? I said. I then shrugged and said that it was just an episode that they never made. I hit play all to watch them. The first 5 episodes were good, but the last one wasn't. After the intro played, it showed a shot of Sodor at night. It was all dark and crazy. Surprisingly, there was no narration, so I got confused on why they didn't put it there. Percy was at the yard. He was seen looking for Toby, who hadn't seen him yet. Percy sighed. "Where's Toby?" he said. Just then, he heard faint chuckling. Percy got scared. "Thomas, is that you?" Percy asked in fear. Just then, Percy heard what sounded like glass shattering. He got even more scared. "Who's here?" Percy asked fearfully. Just then, Percy saw a silhouette puffing towards him. The silhouette then popped out of the shadows and into the light, revealing Thomas. Thomas looked intimidating. His paint was a darker and dull blue, his side linings were dark crimson red, his wheels were black and his eyes were dark blue. Percy gasped, seeing what his friend became. "Hey there, Green Engine, is there anything to be worried about?" he said, as he was talking in the voice of Eddie Glenn. "Thomas, what happened to you?" Percy asked fearfully. "Oh, I must not tell you, Green Engine," said Thomas. "Now, where's your mommy?" He held up a butcher's knife and Percy screamed. "Don't worry, let's give good old Percy a smashy-mashy," said Thomas. He then threw the butcher's knife at Percy, and then I felt sick. As the butcher knife was about to make contact with Percy's face, the screen just cut to black, though Percy could be heard screaming in agony and blood splattering. I widened my eyes in shock after what I saw. What was that? I said, "Is this a dream?" I pinched myself to make sure I was dreaming. Unfortunately, I wasn't. The next scene started. Some sparkles appeared and flew towards James at the yard, who was shunting some trucks. James's shunting continued for 16 seconds until he stopped. He then sighed. "I think that's enough shunting," said James. Just then, one of the trucks started to move by themselves. This confused James. "What was that?" James asked in confusion. Just then, Thomas came back with the trucks. "Thomas, how did you do that?" James said. Thomas didn't say anything for about 5 seconds until he said, "I am now under the control of evil. I can do anything no other tank engine could do." James was impressed, but was starting to get afraid by Thomas's appearance. "Are you going to destroy me?" James asked in a scared tone. Just then, Thomas held up a chainsaw. "Game's over, Red Engine," he said. James gasped in fear and he tried to back away. However, one of his tender bogey wheels got caught in a disconnected switch. Thomas then puffed up towards James. "Sorry, Red Engine, but game's over," he said. He then threw his chainsaw towards James, and like what happened earlier with Percy, it cut to black with James screaming as if Rob Rackstraw was actually in pain. I widened my eyes in more shock after what I saw. "What kind of psycho could have done this?" I said under my breath. The next scene began. It showed a shot of Gordon near the station. He spoke, but with the voice of Neil Crone. "Sir Topham Hatt, I will send some trucks to the yard and be back soon, I promise," he said. Gordon then puffed towards the trucks area. "I got to take these trucks to the yard and be back. I will make sure that no." Gordon's sentence was interrupted by a faint echoing chuckle. "Who's here?" Gordon asked. Just then, a piece of coal landed in front of Gordon. Gordon looked at the coal and explained, "What kind of tank engine lost this?" he asked. Just then, Thomas appeared, still in his dark paint scheme. "How's it hanging?" Thomas asked. Gordon gasped. "Who are you?" Gordon said. "Are you working for Diesel 10? Thomas then chuckled again. "You're right, Big Blue Engine. I am working for Diesel 10. Gordon was shocked, then angrily grimaced. "And if you want me, come and get me," Thomas said. Gordon then tried to catch Thomas, but he teleported somewhere. Gordon got confused. Just then, he ends up getting caught by something. It was revealed Thomas that caught Gordon. Gordon then tried to free himself, but Thomas pushes Gordon and he started to slip and slide. Gordon then noticed he was headed towards some tankers. Right before he made contact with the tankers, it cut to black as a loud explosion was heard. It then showed the next scene. Only 2 more and this DVD will end. It showed Henry arriving at the yard Percy had been in the first scene. He was seen looking for Gordon. "Where's Gordon?" Henry asked. Just then, he heard the sound of rolling stock banging. "What was that?" Henry asked. He then went over to Tidemouth Sheds to investigate what happened. As he got over there, he saw that some trucks were derailed. "Why are some trucks derailed?" Henry asked. Just then, he heard the same chuckle Thomas made earlier. "Who's here?" Henry asked fearfully. He then went to the front door of the sheds. Out of the blue as the door opened, Thomas jumped right in front of him, which was a jump scare. Henry let out a startled yell. "Well, bust my buffers, Thomas. What are you doing here?" Henry asked. "I came out to rock and roll with you, Henry." "But that's not music. This is music," Thomas said. Thomas then summoned some speakers which played very loud music. The music sounded more like rock and roll, more like heavy metal. As that happened, Henry had to back away because of how loud the music was. And as Thomas continued playing the music, Henry's smoke box explodes and oil was dripping out of it, and he fell out of a siding and landed on the road. And then he got hit by an incoming truck, causing him to blow into pieces. And then I felt sick again. I paused the episode and ran to the bathroom and vomited into the toilet. After that, I went back to watch the Red Thomas in the yard. The final scene began. It showed a shot of Thomas standing in the yard. He was looking normal, but he was still supporting that evil smile. In the background was a music box version of the engine roll call. That gave me chills down my spine. Oh, after that, Thomas disappeared from the shot and then it showed an empty space of the yard. Then the credits played, and then the Hit Entertainment logo played, but it was messed up. It was tinted red, and the music had a demonic effect added to it. It then took me back to the main menu. meaning that the DVD ended. I was completely scared after what I saw. I then decided to visit Hit Entertainment for a while. Everything was normal, and then it played a trailer for Kipper, The Magic Carpet and other stories. I then decided to go to bonus features. The bonus features was the trailer for the Wiggles movie. Trailers for most of the shows featured in the web link to Hit Entertainment's website. When my dad came home, I showed him what I saw on the DVD and he was terrified. I managed to grab a few screenshots before my dad smashed the DVD. That night, I couldn't sleep because of how traumatized I was from the episode. The next day, I contacted Hit Entertainment about the episode and they told me that Adam Kennington was the one that made it. Remember, if you encounter a lost DVD, watch out!